All right. We back with another video reaction. Salute to everybody that's here. You guys are watching the Hater World, and today we got a clip coming from a username Sin Perez. Now, maybe they're related to SPM. I don't know, but the reason this caught my attention was because they are trying to prove SPM's innocence even after 20 something years. Now, look, I want everybody to start being open minded. We're going to start doing videos right here that might not be to your liking. I know SPM has these crazy charges and he is what he is and he's locked up. But this video, I want to see whether it makes sense or whether we're back at the same thing, right? See, before watching this video, I'm going to tell you how I feel. I feel SPM is a disgusting man. I feel he did what he did to those children and he should always stay behind closed doors. But again, this is probably another attempt at trying to get his name relevant, to get him some sales for his music. Or maybe not. I don't know. But I need you guys to start being open minded. We're going to start doing a lot of different videos here. It's not only going to be no jumper and gang stuff. It's going to be a little bit of everything. There's a video I want to react to of that youngster from Fresno, Fade 300. Fade 300. All right. So again, start being open-minded and let's get to the content. Before we press play, like the video, share the video, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button. Let's keep it unbiased. Let's keep it real. And let's not sugarcoat anything, bro. Even if you like the person we're talking about, be realistic. All right? With that being said, salute to everybody. And let's roll the footage. Oh, tomorrow, Saturday, we gonna live stream the Canelo fight live on Rumble. Live on Rumble, we gonna live stream the Canelo fight. Make sure you guys pull up. We're probably gonna start around 5 o'clock on Kick, and then we're gonna move over to Rumble right when the fight starts. So you're gonna have to meet me on Kick at 5 p.m. All right? The link is right here, bro. Boom. Meet me on Kick at 5, and from there we'll go to Rumble around 8:30. All right? With that being said, let's roll the footage.
Man, in these first 3 months, SPM has once again taken over the internet, and I'm almost 100% sure that this is just the beginning for 2025, and it will continue to happen for the rest of the year, because everybody has an opinion on this subject. So last month, Juan Gotti.
Hold on, is this old or new? 5 months ago? Oh, come on, dog. I thought this was fresh. Fuck it, let's roll it.
An ex-Dope House Records artist and a used-to-be close friend of SPM, came out saying that back in the day, he used to see SPM with underage girls, but he never said nothing because at that time, he was living in the Dope House warehouse and SPM was a very powerful person. After years of making claims that SPM was targeted and wrongfully accused, but also said,
what he did violate his bond one was getting caught in a room with a 15-year-old girl. So even though he didn't do the 9-year-old the fact is that he did get caught in a room with some underage chicks while he was on bond. Even though it was an alleged assault, the fact is that he broke that bond. Also, when he went into the rehab, because they sent him to rehab, he was gonna only do like 2 years probation.
What type of rehab was this?
Sexual offenders.
Oh,
rehab.
wow.
It was like a rehab. Anyways, in there, he hooked up with a chick and he got kicked out of the rehab. And the chick's dude told the chick that if you don't file charges on this man, he's going to, like divorce her or leave her or whatever.
Right.
So she had to say that she got raped by Los in the rehab. So when they kicked him out, I think that's when he went back to court, and that's when they all those things that I'm talking about was what led the judge to say you get 45 years. There wasn't one case where it was the main case about that little girl, but he had all this other stuff under him. Yeah, that's why they were like, man, look at this. You just violated your mom with a underage chick. You just got kicked out of the rehab by, now they said you raping. Yeah, they gave him 45, man.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. That sounds like it would be on point. Like they threw the book at you because of several cases that you had. Uh, you know, he said they wanted to give him 2 years at the beginning, and I remember back in those days, bro, hearing that if he would have signed a deal, they were only gonna give him a couple of years and he would have been out. But he wanted to fight because he didn't want that smut on his name, and ended up with a 45-year sentence. Uh, Sounds about right as far as like the judge sentencing you to all that time because of all your priors. So listen, people be saying like, "Oh, Juan Gotti's not a reputable source because he used to be friends. Now he's mad." Understood, but at the same time, he would know a lot of info because he was there. He's wrong for not coming forward. That's a fact. He's wrong for not coming forward and saying something about it when he saw it happening. So he a scumbag too. But maybe now is eating up his conscience, right? Maybe now he can't sleep at night. Maybe now he's sitting there like, damn, bro, I really allowed that to go down. Man, what if they were my kids? What if that was my daughter? Maybe now he's sitting there like, I gotta say something. Or maybe it's all for beneficial gain. I really believe SPM did that, bro.
SPM and his daughter both cleared that up. And this time, they show receipts that many people have been waiting to see.
As far as what Gotti said about me sleeping with underage girls, how I slept with a 14-year-old and lost my bond, how I was sent to a rehab for sex offenders or to some sex-related rehab. I had initially lost my bond because they said I had cocaine in my system. I got my bond reinstated because my lawyer had a private drug testing facility test me and I was clean. So their attempt to take my bond failed. Then, not long after, I did an interview with the newspaper. I said that I sip syrup daily and all this dumb shit I said. It was just work. But the judge ordered me to a substance abuse rehab in Kerrville, Texas, right near San Antonio. You will see everything I'm saying through official court documents. They did this to get me off the streets, and I will show you the underhanded moves they made to take my bond a second time. It was while I was in this rehab that my bond was revoked. The two girls that Gotti talked about, the reason I lost my bond, one was 14, the other was 17. I did not pick them up. They were calling my old number, which that phone constantly rang day and night. So I gave that phone to one of my homeboys. I had a new number by then.
But says that the judge knew that whole story was false, and he feels like the judge was.
Tell me that don't sound like a bunch of excuses, bro. Listen, maybe he's correct about the bond. Maybe he's correct about him not getting revoked for so-and-so, right? But when he ventured off and started saying that a 14 and a 17-year-old girl were calling his phone nonstop, and he gave that phone to a homeboy, that right there is suspect. First of all, why is a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old calling your phone? Why? Again, I don't want people to get in their feelings, bro, and say, Blue Devil, you're bashing. No, bro, I'm asking the correct questions. Why is a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old calling your phone? Now, you can say, well, that's the Dope House party line or the hotline. Why did he give his number? Why did he give that phone to his homeboy? It don't sound right, bro. Listen, every time SPM speaks, it sounds like an excuse. It don't sound genuine, bro. And I'm just being honest. It sounds like an excuse. Why is a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old girl calling your number, bro?
in on it and said that he wants people to notice how none of those girls filed any type of lawsuits on him because they knew they wouldn't win, and also adds how they were in some type of trouble that was unrelated to his case, and the DAs made some kind of deal with them in exchange for their testimonies against him, and provided proof from one of them showing that she had sold X to an undercover cop.
First of all, guys, they can't flat out say that Carrie Canales gave my dad's phone number to a 14-year-old right after she sold X to an undercover cop. That would look suspicious as hell. So these genius DAs had the 14-year-old say that she took the number out of Carrie's phone. But in a minute, you will see that Carrie was involved in the whole thing. The ginormous question is, how is it that the same girl that gets busted selling X in a strip club is the same girl who gave my dad's number to a 14-year-old?
All right, look. I keep hearing this over and over and over, and you guys tell me if I'm tripping. They set me up. They're the ones that did it. They're the ones that wanted to get me off the streets. They revoked my bond. They told the 14-year-old girl, they. Basically, what SPM and his daughter is trying to tell you is that the police, the government, did everything in their power to get SPM behind bars. Now, I will tell you this. I don't believe anything the daughter says because the daughter was a baby when all this happened. She had no recollection. She knows nothing about the case. All she knows is what her father tells her. And of course, she's going to take her father's side. I understand that and I respect it. I respect it because that's the daughter. She loves her father. Is it right? No. Because if your father is wrong, he is wrong. You got to hold him accountable for what he did. I know you love your pappy and you want to do what you got to do to get him out. I understand that family aspect. But again, if he were to come out and say he did do it and now he's a changed man, I think people will understand and not bash him so hard. But because he keeps denying it year after year, I think people are just sick of hearing the excuses. But let's continue.
And when you hear the ridiculous story that the 14-year-old said about being with SPM, you will never look at our justice system the same. They knew her story was fraud. And what's the name of the friend of yours whose cell phone you got it out of? Carrie Canales. Okay, and was she a friend of his? Yes, ma'am. And is she a lot older than you? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, how old is she? 19. The truth is that Carrie Canales, the stripper, gave my dad's old phone number to Lindsay Lindquist, the 14-year-old. Carrie told Lindsay to say she was 18 years old so that some guys associated with Dope House could pick her up. Lindsay was with a 17-year-old named Candace Ashford, and Lindsay and Candace did get picked up on the night in question. They went to a hotel of which my dad did not stay, and at that hotel, Lindsay took a stack of brochures from the lobby. She took the hotel key and whatever else she could take to prove that she was at that hotel. The next day, she brought back those brochures and the hotel key to the DA's investigator. That was the so-called evidence they had, along with a made-up story of how she slept with SPM. And with that, they took my dad's bond and he never saw freedom again.
Why? My question is why? Why? And where is the evidence that you're saying these things that is factual? What evidence do we have that what you're saying is true? How do you know she went to the hotel and took all these things to plan them to get your dad busted? Where's the proof? Is it he say, she say, your word against mine? Because that's what it seems like right now, bro. That's exactly what it seems like. But why? Again, why?
Now that part of him getting caught with underage girls at a hotel is actually noted in his paperwork. But it was written that both girls were 14 years old. And it's a question that many have pointed out, but it was never cleared up by SPM up until now. Now on that part of him being in a substance abuse rehab and getting his bond revoked and then getting locked up is something that I have to highlight. On a Donnie Houston phone interview, SPM claimed,
what happened was, bro, I was on like some kind of probation when I was going to court. I was on a probation where I had to do a piss test every Monday. It was some kind of probation because I was going to court. They put me on some kind of weird thing where I had to report every Monday and do a drug test. So I couldn't smoke no weed in that. I remember I was at Chico's Sports Bar on a Sunday night getting fucked up. You know, I was just getting drunk. Man, I could barely walk. I said, man, I'm going to wreck my car. You know, so I'm in the restroom and I see some dudes snorting some coke and they dip it with their car keys. And I said, man, dame un llavecito, that means give me a little key. And, oh, de nada, you know, no problem. I mean, so they dip their car key in the coke and they hit me up on one nostril, then they dip it again and they hit me up on the other nostril so I can wake up and I can drive home. Totally forget that I did that. And the next day I go do the piss test. So ultimately that's what led to me losing my bond.
so I'm confused on that part right there.
Now look, that seems logical. All right. That seems logical. You know, there's things that I do and I forget. There's things that I do and I forget, bro. Hold on. Give me a minute. There's things that I do and I forget, bro. I don't know if drugs is one of them. But you know what? Yes, I have forgot that I have done drugs. One time I took a drug test when I was blazing, and I was so faded, fool. I forgot I had a drug test. I didn't forget that I did drugs. I forgot that I had a drug test. You know, but again, it sounds like more excuses by SPM, bro. And maybe all this is true, but when you have the odds of did you do it, did you not do it, and you have all this evidence and you have all these excuses, come on, bro. At what point do people say, damn, bro, you were just an innocent bystander and the cops and the feds and people came to pick on you for no reason? Now, we know this happens to artists all the time, bro. Kobe was wrongfully accused. Tupac was wrongfully accused. Michael Jackson was wrongfully accused. R. Kelly was rightfully accused. Diddy seems like he's wrongfully accused. You know, some people may beg to differ on some of those names. Mike Tyson, you know, but at the end of the day, bro, there's a lot of evidence stacked against SPM. That's why he got 45 years.
Several years ago, I put out a series of content called The System Isn't Always Right. And I pointed out different cases where people got railroaded by the system and eventually went to prison for years and even decades until the proof finally came out and showed that they were actually innocent the whole time. Although this is still not enough to prove that SPM is innocent, it could be a start because they provided paperwork in black and white from the court transcripts, as well as handwritten letters from one of the underage girls saying how the DA over SPM's case convinced the girl to lie on SPM's name to get him put away.
My testimony for Carlos Coy's freedom. Background information: Candace Dawn Ashford, birth date 8/5/1984, birthplace Southeast Houston Memorial Hospital, Houston, Texas. October 2000, I was arrested for terroristic threat and assault causing bodily injury. October 13th, 2000, arrested for battery and running away. September 2001, now 17, which in the state of Texas considered an adult, you go to jail. arrested for Class A with bodily injury on my mom. Montgomery County Sheriff or officer came to my friend's house. Nobody knew I was there. He hands me a subpoena and says, "You have two choices here. Choice one, go to court and testify that I knew that Carlos Coy, SPM, knew Lindsay's age and that she told him she wasn't 18. Choice number two, if I did not go and say exactly that, I would be charged with accessory to statutory rape and he would make sure I spend my life in prison." So I go to the courthouse with him, taking me there, him, sheriff, he goes over what I'm to.
Okay, look, the video, there's about a minute left, bro, but I don't want to continue, and I'm going to tell you why. If there is really evidence that can set you free, such as this, and such as other pieces of evidence that the daughter is trying to use, right? Don't you think by now SPM would have hired an appeal attorney and got this conviction overturned? I think so. I think so, with the millions of dollars that SPM has and the notoriety and him being this big Mexican rapper, I think by now he would have paid an attorney and had this overturned. But he cannot. And nobody probably wants to take the case because it is set in stone that he did these horrendous crimes. It is right there in black and white. As much as you guys that are out there that love his music and maybe still listen to him today, don't want to accept the facts. I understand, I get it. But bro, you gotta sit there and think about, what if these were your family members that these things were done to? At the end of the day, everybody's gonna do what they want to do. SPM fans are gonna be SPM fans. I'm not trying to sit here and convince you. I'm just trying to bring you the facts based off of what they're saying. I think that if an attorney had a chance to appeal, you don't think he wants the publicity? Oh, I could get SPM off. We got this evidence that can get him off. I'll do it for free. But it's not going to happen, guys. Now listen. Take it how you want. Diss me, talk shit to me. I'm used to it. But I'm spitting facts. And with that being said, salute to everybody. Hit the like button. Hope nobody got offended. I hope the daughter, Carly Coy, and the YouTuber, Sin Perez, didn't get offended. All right, with that being said, salute to everybody. Hit the like button. I'm Blue Devil. You guys watching the Hater World. Click on these videos. Go to these links. And until next time, we out this bitch.